So typically in hotel rooms, the lighting is a little bit shit. So I'm going to teach you how you can do this kind of lighting setup super simply, super easy. Let's go, bosh. So one bloke, one hotel room and 1 hour to make the most ultimate hotel YouTube setup that anyone's ever seen ever in the history of hotel YouTube setups. Let's give this one a go, mate, bosh. What's going on, you lot? I hope you're all sweet. So, it's been a bloody while, mate, since I've actually held a camera like this and spoke to you. Usually I'm in the studio, like, chatting about filmmaking and that, but, you know, James is about, and he's, you know, back with a brand new... No, I'm not. So, thanks to Storyblocks for sponsoring today's video. I'm going to be talking about them later, and, James, how did you get all them shots of Jakarta? We all know the deal. I'm going to be telling you later about that. Anyway, today I'm going to be showing you how I can, even though I don't know if I can, because I haven't done it yet, I'm going to basically do a little experiment and see if I can make like the most ultimate hotel YouTube setup in under an hour using the facilities that I've got right here. Now, to give you a bit of perspective, I'm in Jakarta in Indonesia because I'm out here shooting a couple of bits, which is going to be sick, and I've got a quarantine in here for 5 days. Now, I'm not going to lie, this hotel is absolutely sweet. I'm not usually a baller, and I don't usually ball, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to ball out this time, because if you're spending 5 whole days in a hotel room on your own, kind of scratching your head or scratching whatever you want, it can get a little bit boring and you can kind of lose your head a bit. So I thought, you know what, let me do myself a favour and book myself somewhere quite nice for 5 days, and then I can, you know, eat baked beans for the rest of the time I'm here. So first things first, when it comes to shooting a YouTube setup, there's a couple of things you need to keep in mind. Now, I made a video like the top 5 tips to shooting a YouTube setup, and I'm basically going to stick to every single one of them tips. Number 1, which I think is the most important thing for when you're shooting in like a very small area, try and maximize the depth in your frame. I'm thinking about shooting like directly down here, but facing this way, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to close up these curtains so that I can obviously control my light, and then when I talk, my audio should essentially be soaked up by this curtain, so then we don't get any reverb and we don't get any dodgy sound. So let's set up this frame and see if we can build like a nice long shot going through here. Decent light. We've also got these slats in the background, which if I utilise my light properly, we can create some really, really cool kind of background lighting effects. And also, people, when you're shooting in hotel rooms, you'll notice there are so many practical lights. Right, all of these cheeky little practical lights you need to use to your advantage, because why wouldn't you use them? Hotels never have like a big light in the centre of the room because that light just looks a bit horrible all over the room. Oi, oi, someone's not messing about, mate. 6K Pro? Cool, come on. So while I'm out here, I'm actually going to be doing loads of content with the 6K Pro. I've only shot one thing with it so far, and that was for Rivals 3 for Peter Lindgren's video. If you haven't gone and checked that out, mate, you are missing out. So, yeah, this is going to be sick. Right, so this is kind of the gear room currently. A nice little bit messy because I'm one times bloke in hotel room. Let's grab the monopod. So to maximise the distance in this frame, this is what I'm thinking. Something along these lines. I want to go straight down there, bring me nice and close, loads of distance between the subject and the background. This should work out decent. Right, so with this frame, I want to be shooting straight down the middle, and I'm going to be using, you see that little desk lamp over there? That's going to be our backlight. Let's get her on. Boom. And obviously, when you're doing lighting setups, you want to have complete control over your lighting. So what we're going to do, we're going to shut them curtains, and we're going to, you know, use our totally controlled lighting scene. Fortunately, I've brought a key light with me. Bosh. So when it comes to your key light, you want to try and make sure that your key light is as large a source as possible, depending on the kind of look you want to go for. But in most scenarios, to make it look a bit nice, you want a nice big source, nice and close to the subject's face. So that's what we're doing right here. So to make sure we can completely control our lighting, let's turn off all of the house lights and see how we're looking. So right now we're getting pretty close, mate. We've got this really nice kind of key light, nice and close, nice and kind of filling my face up. That's going to make the light look really nice and soft. We've also got this little practical light in the background, which is just giving the room a little bit of atmosphere. And then obviously we've got the desk lamp over there, which is pointing directly at me. So that should try to give me a nice little bit of a backlight. I'll show you what the frame looks like right now. Right, so that's looking much, much better. I do, however, think that there is a little bit too much contrast on my face. This side of my face here is just a little bit too dark. So what we're going to do is we're going to now get the audio in, which we all know audio is one of the most important parts. We're going to get the audio in, and then using the audio stand, I'm going to put a little bit of a bouncing back onto my face. So yeah, because that side is just a little bit too dark. So for those of you that have been around long enough, you'll know that I used to use a broken tripod leg as my boom arm, which on this trip I've brung with me because, you know, keeping it lightweight. Now, when it comes to your audio, you want to try and get that microphone as close as you can to your mouth. About 10 inches is a pretty damn good distance for audio. And obviously, you want to make sure that it's just tipping out the top of the frame. So if this was my frame, you'd want to make sure that the mic was just there, like just popped out the top. Well, that is going to give you the best quality audio, and it allows you to kind of increase that contrast between your source's audio and the background noise, because we don't want to hear no background noise, do we? Get out, none of that. Oh yeah, and by like me facing that direction, it helps because I'm not talking into that harsh kind of echoey area. I'm talking directly into that nice big curtain there, and it's just soaking up all of the audio. Right, so now what I've done is I've stuck my mic, when I say literally, like that far away from my mouth, so we're gonna be sounding pretty damn good. Boom. Right, James, audio from this is going to go onto the main camera, right? Jeez. Right, so we've now got the mic directly, like, let me give her a little bit of a scratch, literally right there. This is sick, sounds so much better, simply because now that the mic is closer to my mouth, it allows us to bring down the levels in camera, basically bringing down the entire background noise, because no one wants dodgy background noise in their scenes, not even me, and I'm a dodgy geezer. Right, so you remember I said I wasn't too happy on how contrasty my face was. You lot know the good old, you know, even though I've kind of broke mine, you can never have enough crocodile clips, mate. Never, ever, ever. Right, so that is now the bounce added in, so it should give my face a much kind of, you know, softer, nice and softer look to it. So, yeah. Nice. Oh yeah, something I didn't mention was that we want to try and shoot at our lowest aperture possible so that we can get the most amount of depth of field. So it really separates the subject from the background. So if you increase the distance from the subject and the background combined with a low aperture, that is going to create a really nice shallow depth of field separating your subject from the background. So where are we right now? Let's have a little look. So looking at this frame, which I'm not going to lie to you, like I think it looks pretty damn good. The only thing to me is like this area over here is just a little bit dead. This top left hand corner, just a bit dead. I'm not a massive fan of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of my favourite lights ever. Let's grab that bad boy. Bosh. The Nanlite Pavo tube. Honestly, this thing is levels. So this is basically an RGB tube, which is just the nuts. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that on a nice blue hue. Damn, I've already got it ready. So, and I'm going to stick that over here. Let's widen us up. And I'm simply just going to stick that on the floor here and hope that them slats create... Oh, look at the roof. Oh, jeez, this is looking a bit sick. Now let's do what I should have done from the start because, you know, autofocus. Let's stick the A7S Mark III on there so that we can see like a much better frame for a YouTube vlog. So let's go. Boom, and there we go. That is the setup. It's simply just that key light right there, little reflection, little bounce there, little practical light for a little bit of essence. Obviously the desk lamp to try and give me this little bit of shimmer. You see like me separating from the background like a little, it's almost just like a little line of light on the side of my face. We call it a backlight or an edge light. And then obviously over at the back we got that blue, just giving the scene a little bit of a little bit of character to it, a little bit of 3D. You can see like all of the slats and the lines. I just think that looks a bit sick. And the blue obviously contrasts with the orange, so we kind of get that teal and orange look, which on the colour spectrum is contrasting colours, which just makes the image just look a little bit more interesting. So while we're here, I do just want to thank today's sponsor, which is Storyblocks. Storyblocks is a huge library of royalty-free stock footage and stock assets that you can dip and dive into whenever you want. For someone like me who's a filmmaker by profession, it's absolutely necessary that I have a big library of stock assets that I can dive into whenever I need to. Like today, I'm stuck in a hotel room quarantining and I need some shots of Jakarta to make a cheeky little intro to this video. I clearly can't just go outside and get them shots, can I? Because I'm stuck in here. So thanks to Storyblocks, I could give you that intro. With a Storyblocks subscription, you've got over 1 million different assets to use on any kind of project. A personal project, YouTube, even commercial projects, you can use the assets from Storyblocks with one of their subscriptions. So if you're a solo shooter, you're a large production company or massive media house, they have got subscriptions for you. So check out the link in my description. That is going to take you over to Storyblocks so you can see what Storyblocks has to offer. I definitely recommend going and doing that. They are absolutely sick. So I've got another 4 days in this hotel room on my bloody own. I'm probably going to lose my mind, but we've got good things coming, mate. We've got a shoot out in Indonesia, which is obviously the reason we're here. And while I'm here, mate, I'm not going to mess about and not, you know, make some decent little travel vlogs for you. Right, the 6K Pro, I'm going to absolutely tear this one a new one out in Indonesia. I'm going to be using it to its absolute potential, and obviously I'm going to be giving you lot a little bit of a, you know, an insight as to what I think, my experience using it, and already I think it's a little bit double bloody naughty. I shot my segment for Peter Lindgren's Rivals 3. If you haven't gone and seen that, you should definitely go and see it, because I'm a little bit of an evil hacker, mate. It's just a bit sick. So go and check that out. Stick about if you want to see a few little cheeky travel vlogs shot with the old Blackmagic 6K Pro. And as always, mate, I hope this helped you out. I hope you got something from this and learned how to utilise space, utilise light, camera settings, aperture to create depth and distance, create some, you know, decent little 3D scenes with light. And hopefully you can implement these into your videos, because that's what these are about. Anyway, people, thanks so much for watching, and I'll be catching you lot in the next one, mate. Bye.